This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Wendy Griffith. Pushing back against the shutdown, small business owners on the brink of bankruptcy and fed up with being labeled non-essential. With states reopening, why are these businesses still on hold? And will more of them revolt if they're not allowed to reopen soon? Our Caitlin Burke has the story.
This salon should be open. Salons and barbershops were scheduled to get back to work here in Connecticut on May 20th as part of phase 1 of the state's reopening plan. But just 2 days before, the governor decided to pump the brakes.
A lot of us here today, we did what was necessary and what was called for us to do. And the rug got pulled out from underneath us.
Governor Ned Lamont blamed his decision on complaints from salon owners who asked for more time to prepare for reopening. Many others, however, were counting on an income stream to return a week ago. Hair canvas salon owner Erin Coyle tells CBN News she spent time and money ensuring her business followed the government's guidelines.
We separated the chairs in the stations a little bit more. We put plexiglass dividers between the sinks. My husband built a hand sanitizing stand because you couldn't find one anywhere. We got hand sanitizers for every station. We ordered in a ton of bleach wipes and alcohol dispensers and you name it, face shields, masks, extra gloves.
Across the country, small business owners have already reached a tipping point. Many frustrated that they're being treated differently than national chains like Target and Walmart. Virginia Beach gym owner Amanda Crow told CBN News she too was expecting to reopen as part of her state's phase 1 plan. Then, at the last second, Virginia Governor Ralph Northam decided it wasn't safe.
I guess his big argument was people will be touching everything, so that's why it's not safe, and then the sweat. But again, I go to Walmart and open up the refrigerator, grab milk. No one's sanitizing that handle, touching all the bread. So I would think the gym, we could control that environment and it would be more sanitary and more clean and less risk for people to catch COVID or any other disease versus going to Walmart.
Petitions to reopen are circulating in dozens of states. Reopen New York rallied in the city last week, demanding small businesses be allowed to get back to work and pushing back against the label non-essential.
Does this virus only spread in small businesses? And yes, I know, I've heard the argument, we are not essential. You know what? To my children, my small business is essential. It is with money from my brick and mortar store that I put food in their mouths and fill their bellies. Our businesses are essential to our families and to our communities. I cannot imagine what New York will look like if, God forbid, we don't open now.
Meanwhile, in Connecticut, salon owners are again preparing to reopen. The latest date set by the governor, June 1st.
I'm absolutely terrified. I'm probably the most nervous person of the virus that I've met. But if I'm allowed to go back, I'm going back. I'm going to wear my mask, my face shield. My clients are going to wear their mask. We're going to follow all the precautions that we're told.
While decisions on when and how to reopen are left up to individual states, President Trump has been critical of those he feels are moving too slowly, encouraging governors to allow those who want to work to go back and those who are still fearful to stay home. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
Thanks, Caitlin. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is at the White House today meeting with President Trump. The two will discuss a number of things, including the economic and medical impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Presidential counselor Kellyanne Conway told reporters that Trump may also discuss nursing homes. The president previously called Cuomo's decision to send COVID patients to nursing homes a huge screw-up in New York. Well, communities and high schools across the country are coming up with creative ways to celebrate graduating seniors amid the pandemic. Seniors in Central Florida celebrated in the sand as social distancing guidelines prevented them from having their normal indoor ceremony. Parents organized the event with the seniors walking down the beach one by one.
It's actually really nice that they were willing to come up with this idea for us, because I know a lot of kids may not be here in June when we do our actual graduation. So it's their way of coming together as a community and giving us all that opportunity.
Meanwhile, some organizations are teaming up to give seniors across the country a chance to celebrate together in a very unique way. The National Senior Send-Off is a one-night virtual event taking place tomorrow, May 28th, for 1 hour, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. Dare to Share founder Greg Stier joins us now with more. Greg, welcome to the show.
Glad to be a part of it.
Well, first of all, what inspired you to come up with this program?
Well, I'm a dad. I work with a ministry called Dare to Share, but I'm a father of a senior in high school who's had, prom canceled, graduation delayed, all sorts of social activities. My heart breaks for teenagers, especially high school seniors during this pandemic. And I thought, what can I do as a dad to do something that can become a marker for these high school seniors? And talked to Faith Christian Academy, where my son goes, the superintendent. And he said, hey, we're in. I talked to my buddy, Alan Weed, who runs a ministry called Interlink. They're making it their national streaming event. And things started coming together. I mean, pro athletes have lined up, professional musicians, Christian musicians, and we're coming together to pull off this one-night event. And I believe students are going to be inspired and equipped and unleashed, sent off for the glory of God to change the world.
Wow. Well, as the dad of a graduate, how do you hope this will speak to students and maybe even more importantly right now to parents?
Yeah, the whole design is that you watch this with your high school senior as a family, and we speak into your life. So these athletes, these musicians, Gabrielle Odom, who is a 18-year-old senior at Minnetonka High School in Minnesota, she's going to do the senior address and really challenge teenagers to change the world for God and not let this pandemic hold them down. And I'm going to challenge them with realizing that Jesus is sending them off on a mission. So I'm hoping and praying that everybody's encouraged, that parents spend time at the end of the service praying over their high school senior and sending them off for the glory of God. I'm hoping and praying it's a marker for them that forever transforms them. And we're going to actually mobilize them to go from there and share the gospel with their friends. So I work for Dare to Share. So that's what we do. We're going to challenge them. Hey, let's be sent off. During this pandemic, everybody's freaking out. I mean, the very foundation of everything we've put our hope in as Americans, health, wealth, and safety, is crumbling. And now we're going to point everybody to a foundation that is sure and firm. That foundation is Jesus Christ. So we're going to send them off with hope. And I'm praying that prayer time at the end where parents and siblings gather around their high school senior is so meaningful, and that these teenagers are absolutely transformed and sent out. It becomes a marker for them that changes their life forever.
Wow. Greg, I'm just picturing that right now, the parents praying over their kids. And I mean, that is going to be something to remember for the rest of their lives. Well, who are some of the big names? I understand there are some well-known people who will be sending messages out to the grads, to the 2020 grads.
Yeah, so Toby Mack for King and Country, Bethany Hamilton, Peabod. We got Matt Forte. We have Jason Adam. He's a pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. We have 3 members of the women's Olympic softball team. Everybody's just come out. We have Prince Amakamura, who was with the Bears, but now just signed with the Raiders. I'm from Denver, so I cannot technically cheer for the Raiders. I'm illegal. It's illegal for me to do that. And we have, just more athletes that we're just blown away how many came out and said, we want to speak life and hope and encouragement into the lives of these teenagers. And so it's going to be a powerful night.
Okay, again, who can come, who can tune into this, and when is it?
It's Thursday night, this Thursday night, May 28th. It is, they can invite their family. We're just inviting families and their high school seniors to sit in their living room and watch us together, watch it streamed, and be moved by what God is doing. If they want more information, they can go to nationalseniorsendoff.com, nationalseniorsendoff.com. And we're just excited. Be praying that these teenagers, these seniors are sent out with hope and encouragement. And this becomes a marker for them that forever changes them.
nationalseniorsendoff.com. All right, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Greg Stier, thank you so much for doing this. God bless you.
Thank you.
In other news, protests overnight in Minneapolis after the death of a black man who was in police custody. Thousands of demonstrators took to the streets. Police used tear gas to hold off the crowds. 4 officers have been fired one day after George Floyd's death. Video shot outside a South Minneapolis grocery store Monday night showed an officer kneeling on Floyd's neck, even though he was in handcuffs, and remaining in that position as Floyd pleaded that he couldn't breathe and finally stopped moving. He was later taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police say the unarmed victim is suspected of trying to pass a forged check, that he was under the influence of alcohol or drugs and resisted officers.
We understand that there may be other factors that are involved, but bottom line, the reasonable restrictions or whatever you want to call it, the force that was used is very unreasonable last night.
The FBI and state law enforcement are investigating Floyd's death. Coming up, why Twitter is coming under fire by the president. But before we go to the break, here's a look at what's trending on CBNNews.com.
Before you marry is a bad idea.
Don't tell me there's no such thing as gun violence.
That just depends on your definition of when life begins.
Watch Dan and Dale tackle trending topics that test your faith on the next Faith Wire, Monday night at 9:30. The Global Lane takes you around the world, providing facts over fiction.
What might rising trade and geopolitical tensions mean for you on the home front?
With over 45 years of experience, award-winning journalist Gary Lane brings you the truth from a global angle.
What about the issue of immigration?
World news analysis you won't see anywhere else.
And it's all right here on the Global Lane.
Watch The Global Lane, Thursday night at 9:30.
The feud between President Trump and Twitter continues over the social media giant's new fact-check system. The president blasting Twitter for attaching fact-check warnings to 2 of his tweets about mail-in voting, calling the blue fact-check marks misleading. In response, Trump tweeted and accused Twitter of interfering in the 2020 presidential election, saying the company was, quote, completely stifling free speech. A spokeswoman for Twitter says the tweets, quote, contain potentially misleading information and were labeled to provide additional context. Joining us now with more from the Media Research Center is my friend Dan Gaynor. Dan, what do you make of all this? How does this new fact-check system actually work?
Well, this is something that the left and the media have been pushing social media companies to do for a couple of years now. The idea is they want to restrain not just the president, but certainly he's number one, conservatives on Twitter, conservatives on Facebook and elsewhere. And what it does is, you know, when a tweet is deemed by the fact checkers, in this case, you know, some fairly liberal fact checkers, then they'll alert you. You'll look on the tweet, you'll see there's a fact check attached to it. It's been very controversial done by Facebook. Facebook's deployed 60 different fact checkers around the world, 9 in the U.S. Conservatives have been fighting with that for some time now because overwhelmingly those fact checkers in the U.S. are liberal. and then things get shut down that are more narrative than actual facts.
Yeah, facts aren't facts, depending on your political party, I guess. Well, President Trump today threatened to strongly regulate or even shut down Twitter. What are the chances he'd actually do that?
Well, I don't think the president, short of a national emergency, I don't think the president has the power to shut down a media company. I'm not really keen on him doing so anyhow. But there's a lot of talk on left and right going into what's called Section 230 that set up the rules for the internet and allows companies like Twitter to function with very little restraint as far as people being able to sue if they're libeled or whatever on Twitter. And so there's a lot of talk about going in and changing that. And I think what Twitter has done here right in the middle of an election is it's given impetus to that kind of regulatory talk. And it's my hope that if there is some sort of change, it won't mean more government power. It might just mean more freedom for those of us who post on social media.
Dan, a BBC journalist tweeted about it in writing, quote, "So Twitter can fact check Trump, but cannot do the same for Islamic Republic of Iran's leaders who are actively using the platform to get their messages out to the world." Do you think there is bias going on here?
Absolutely. The left wouldn't have any standards if they didn't have double standards. Twitter allowed 4 years of Russia collusion on its site to declare basically that the president was a traitor. The president strikes back, and so he gets fact-checked. It allows China to claim that the U.S. military produced the virus and introduced it into China. And that doesn't get fact-checked. This is entirely a political attack because of a battle that Trump's having with Morning Joe host, Joe Scarborough. It's totally just basically bowing to their base, and their base is the left, and particularly the traditional media that all want to regulate Trump, and they've wanted to since 2016 because they see social media as the way that he won that election.
Well, and I guess the interesting or the funny thing about it is, Trump loves Twitter. So for him to threaten to shut it down, where would he get his message out? He doesn't really do that on Facebook. He's a tweeting president.
Well, yeah, he's active on Facebook, but he's definitely, Twitter is his baby. He could go to other platforms, and that's what the left wants. They want Trump to leave Twitter. They don't care whether Twitter lives or dies, but they want Trump to leave Twitter because he has massive global reach on Twitter. If he went to someplace, an alternate platform, let's say Gab or someplace like that, it's much smaller. You'd have nowhere near the influence, and particularly journalists they basically decide their stories on Twitter. Something like 80% of journalists find their stories on Twitter.
I love Twitter for the news value. Last time I checked, President Trump had like 80 million followers on Twitter. I don't think he's going anywhere, and I don't think Twitter really wants. Well, they may want to lose him, but they've certainly got someone with a lot of followers on Twitter. Well, listen, Dan, thanks. We're out of time. It's always great to have your insights. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Take care, and God bless.
You too. Still ahead. COVID-19 crushes a student's plans for his family to see him walk across the graduation stage. But millions are now helping him celebrate. We have that story and more coming up next.
On the home front.
Thanks for joining us for CBN's On the Home Front, where we highlight what the men and women of America's military do to defend our country. CBN honors the men and women in our military with an initiative called Helping the Home Front. It partners with churches across the country to meet the needs of their military families, from repairing homes to wiping out medical bills for wounded veterans.
On the Home Front, Tuesday morning at 10:30.
If you want to be an attorney with a passion for serving people and for excellence, Regent University needs to be high on your list.
Regents award-winning law school doesn't just create lawyers. We create leaders, judges, prosecutors and defense lawyers, civil litigators, and leaders in government.
My focus has been trying to really make sure we have the future leaders we need for the bench and the bar and for society generally.
You'll learn from highly credentialed leaders who are current and former judges, distinguished scholars, and ACLJ counsel.
I'm so glad I chose Regent. The relationships here have been amazing. The faculty have been amazing. Not everybody's called to the same thing when they leave law school, but they're called by a God who has a purpose for their lives, and He is going to use that education to make a difference in the world.
Regent will prepare you to be a purpose-driven, practice-ready lawyer. To start your rewarding law career, complete the online application, submit your transcripts, and take the law school admissions test by July. Apply today.
COVID-19 cancels a Nashville student's graduation, but his personal celebration is now touching millions. And a Louisiana man goes from the prison cell to a Hollywood performance stage. We have these stories and more in this week's countdown of uplifting news from the entertainment world.
At number 5.
He don't wake up anymore when he hears thunder.
The nation's annual Memorial Day concert is a virtual one for the first time, honoring history's heroes in battle and those waging war today against COVID-19.
We hold you in our hearts.
To all you real-life Captain Americas and Captain Marvels out there, thank you for your service. God bless you and God bless America.
At number 4.
News Channel 5's Eric Hilt shows us one Nashville graduation celebration that's now been seen by people all around the world.
Millions have now seen Pearl Cohn's high school graduation parade.
Jordan, I graduated! I love you, Green Jordan! Bye, Miss Bell!
Thanks to an emotional senior, Dontrell Spencer.
I'm always seeing you, Miss Bell. Love you too.
A hard-earned celebration he sometimes thought he would never see.
Like, man, COVID got in the way, so I can't walk the stage, though. I just heard I got 2 million views already, and I was like, 2 million people watch me graduate.
Thank you.
It was so many times I want to give up on high school, though.
His grandma, his inspiration, died recently and never saw this moment.
I just got on the rooftop of the car and said I did it. And, you know, I felt like my granny was looking at me, and I yelled I did it because I was telling my granny I did graduate for you.
At number 3.
I've got the Father, my Son, and the Holy Ghost.
A familiar tune from country music star Craig Morgan's new album, God Family Country. His first since his 19-year-old son's death in a tubing accident a few years ago.
I believe so much in my God. I believe in Him so much that I believe that He would not do this to me. He would never do this. Now, the devil would. And I personally believe that God loves me so much and He's so confident in my relationship that He took my son to heaven, knowing that I would never deny Him or refuse Him, and that He will be glorified in my son's death. And He will be.
With the Father, my Son, and the Holy Ghost.
At number 2.
Dear Lord, let your holy angel be with me.
It's a Studio 5 sneak peek at Greyhound, the World War II naval drama inspired by real events, written by and starring Tom Hanks.
How many crossings does this make?
This was my first. I got some.
Most likely a U-boat.
And with COVID-19's lockdown still in place, the film is now coming to you.
In 48 hours, we've lost 7 ships.
Sony last week revealed it'll debut its Tom Hanks World War II naval drama Greyhound on Apple TV+, also foregoing a theatrical release.
At number 1, it's a new season of NBC's America's Got Talent.
We were filming season 15 with packed audiences, all into the theater and the whole thing. And then when the COVID-19 crisis and pandemic started to take over the entire world, we lost our audience.
And it's an emotional start for the season.
Who
the sun go down on me.
With Archie Williams' story to this stage.
I was just incarcerated for 37 years for somebody else's crime. DNA freed me. Being a poor black kid, I didn't have the economic ability to fight the state of Louisiana. I was sentenced to life in 80 years without the possibility of parole or probation. When you're faced with dark times, what I would do is I would pray and sing. This is how I got peace. After 37 years, I was released on March the 21st, 2019. I always desired to be on a stage like this, and now I'm here. Thank God.
But losing everything, it's like the sun going down.
Wow, got chills. Amazing. Wow, what a great lineup of entertaining stories. And we have more if you want more. We've got more on Studio 5, and that is on the CBN News Channel, and that is tonight at 9:30 Eastern. Well done, Ephraim. Well, don't go anywhere. We will be right back after the break.
If you want to be an attorney with a passion for serving people and for excellence, Regent University needs to be high on your list.
Regent's award-winning law school doesn't just create lawyers. We create leaders, judges, prosecutors and defense lawyers, civil litigators, and leaders in government. Ready to become a purpose-driven, practice-ready lawyer? To start your rewarding career, complete the online application, submit your transcripts, and take the law school admissions test by July.
Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living, Tuesday night at 9:30.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
No super balls, man. Come with...
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
New data reveals the coronavirus pandemic has even affected Christians' virtual church attendance. The Barna Group research shows 48% of churchgoers reported that they had not watched any online church in the last 4 weeks. That's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. From all of us here, God bless and have a great day.